You're now tuned to 13soundsastrology.com. So, like, when I take a break like that, which I kind of did yesterday, and just take an intermission like that and just start talking about something kind of like totally different, that's because it's something so prevalent and important that I have to put a pin in whatever we were addressing prior to that so that I can go into what's going on. And what happened is yesterday was very significant, or the day before yesterday was very significant because I was telling you that bet was put up for like 1 million of my views being traded to another land or another like land lottery. And essentially I ended up losing that game, even though the point structure, whatever was set up a certain way. I ended up losing that first game. But then yesterday, and this is what I want this video to be about, is what happened yesterday. And yesterday was a sort of like, I guess you could say it's like a break even at this point, you know, because of various different reasons. It's a break even, and then they're going to have a drawbreaker today is what's going to happen, because yesterday the team or the side that I was traded to, the land that I was traded to, ended up taking that lottery, essentially, is what happened. So that's a break even on that millions worth of views, worth of credit, or what may have you. So what's going to happen is that, you know, if this hand is won on my side, that millions of views is going to essentially quantify or multiply, essentially, and be worth whatever. If it's worth X amount of dollars, it's going to probably, you know, multiply. Essentially, it's going to be double, or, you know, or some type of percentage structure. It's going to grow and profit. Essentially, is what's going to happen. Or if they lose on that coming, because we broke even. So if, you know, if we lose on this last one, then we'll just figure out and calculate exactly how much money was lost. But it's not going to end up being 1 million views, though. 1 million views worth of finance lost on this particular trade, which is good. So we came out on top, you know, because of what happened in the swap and the deal that we made. So, like, for people that don't really understand, like, what I be talking about when I'm addressing, like, how to access this credit and, like, what does this have to do with sports and things of that nature, it's like, you gotta understand, this is a motherfucking hustle. Excuse my language, I don't mean to be, you know, offensive, but this is a hustle, essentially, is what it is. So, in that, I mean, you know, it's formulated that way. That's how I was raised or whatever. And I mean, even though it's, you know, it's paperwork, it's business and things like that involved, at the end of the day, we talking about using sports and monetization and marrying that together to form and to make finance and to form and to make income. But essentially what happens is that you have two factors that come into play when you have something like that set up. There's a sex factor that comes into play, which is a part of the hustle, or you could say it's a sex hustle. Like I was saying, like controlling your body and things of that nature, and, you know, and taking back the resources of your body, and, you know, knowing that your body produces gold and things of that nature. So that's where you get into the sex aspect of the hustle, and you use the sex with your partner to profit based upon the experience and the count. Essentially, is where you at with your partner. I'm not gonna give you too much game, but, you know, I drop a little bit of seeds, and that's what I'm saying. Like, this shit, it's really worth a lot of money. Like, even just teaching you, to be honest with you, because I mean, this was taught to me by, like, essentially, I mean, I learned a lot on my own through trial and error. But I would really, you know, give this information as far as, like, if I had a teacher, it would be like a bunch of elders, because I had to marry, like, mastering gambling and things of that nature, and then learning about Social Security and learning about how they actually bet in politics. See, I had to marry a lot of that information together. See, politicians have what's called a gaming network in Congress, and the Congress bets in Vegas just like everybody else. Everything revolves around betting, and I think that's what people don't really understand when I'm teaching this. So, like, you like, well, how you gonna make some money off betting? Everybody's doing it. Everything's a bet. Your job's a bet to somebody. To you, it's serious. You get up and go to work every day and do that, and I understand that. But to someone that has a certain amount of money and finance and power, it's a bet. Going to work every day. So essentially, everything in our government is a bet, and currencies, and even on the stock market, is a bet. And when currencies are traded and going up and all of that, down and all of that, everything is essentially based upon a bet. So that's where we're at. So today is going to be an interesting day for me because of what already kind of happened by us breaking even. I got a few moves to make and a few decisions to make, and they want me to come out to California. They're calling me out to California based upon some stuff that happened yesterday that I'm not going to really go into, but because that's kind of like a separate story. I want to kind of do a video on what it is to, like what it means when I say the ones dropped and all of that. I'm going to talk about that separately, but I'm just going to say for right now, because of some stuff that happened in California, they want me to come out there, but I'm thinking I could finance it without really coming out there. But then they like, right now, the ticket is talking about, if I finance it, I got to come up with X amount of dollars by like 8 o'clock tonight. And it's like some G's and shit. So as you can kind of see, I got a lot going on. So it's like, you think I ain't over here talking about no money, but believe me, we be over here chopping it up, talking about thousands of shit every day. Like I financed just in the past like 5 days, I financed like over $10,000 just recently, you know, in the past 5 days, and then now this comes up. So it's like always something, this thing with these millions of views, that's separate from the money I already financed to actually to the team that they traded me to. I had financed them a lot of money, and that's why they traded me. And we paid that ticket off yesterday, and right when we paid that ticket, that's how I know my calculations of what I'm doing is no joke, bro. These numbers I'm using, because as soon as we paid that shit off, then boom, the ones dropped again. And that's what I guess that's what I'm gonna try to do an episode today. I don't know how much time I'm gonna have, but I'm gonna go ahead and shut down here. What I'm gonna try to do is do an episode today on the ones dropping and what that means. But I just kind of wanted to update you guys on what's going on. So that's what's going on today. I'm kind of following a deep, serious bet, some views and shit. It's kind of technical, some stuff I got tied up from the past like 3 weeks of this trip. So I kind of consolidating itself. And in the midst of that, we're making a profit, and it's fun and it's exciting. We got some new people involved and a lot of shit going on. I'm just over here busy. So get at me, send me a text. I'll get at you as soon as I can from yesterday from the texts. I got new readings to do today. Just know I'm over here working. So thank you guys for listening and watching. And as always, stay vigilant. Otet. Namaste. Wadu.